It's been so long that I can't even remember what episode this is. I apologise for keeping you all waiting so long for an episode from me. The last few years have been very, very stressful. I don't want to go into too much detail, but my mum unfortunately hasn't been well at all and is now in care. So a lot of time has been taken up with everything that involves. And so crafting, social media, everything that's an online presence has had to be pushed to one side and just survive the last wee while. So I'm hoping that this year I can come on here and speak to you more, share what I've been working on, and finally find some joy in crafting again. It has kept me going when I've needed time to decompress, cope, work through things. But I haven't really felt like sharing that because I try not to make my presence a depressing one or negative if I can help it. But I also want to be honest about how things are, because sometimes social media and YouTube videos make things seem like everything's wonderful and businesses are thriving and life is going smoothly, and it isn't. Hasn't been. So today might be a bit jumbled while I get back into it and kind of show you the things that I've been working on this last while. I have loads of more whips, as you'll have seen in previous episodes, some of which I still haven't touched or thought about for a long time, but some of them I have worked on and some are new things, because really this year I just want to work on projects that make me happy, things that bring me joy, and as soon as they stop bringing me joy I will be setting them down and ignoring them until I feel like picking them up again. I'm not going to put any pressure on myself to complete anything this year. If I do, then that's great, and if I don't, that's also fine. Because I think too much is done for performance sake, and that isn't the way life should be. It should be for us and what we feel we need to get out of our crafting. It should be personal. So I don't know that I will be making many things as samples for shows for the next wee while. Much so I want to show my own yarn colours and let them shine. I will only be doing it if I really want to. And at the moment, the main things that are bringing me joy are mini skeins. So going forward, that's what I am hoping to be making lots of things with. And I'm planning a little reel on Instagram each week that I will share a mini skein inspirational pattern, something that I think would either is designed for minis or will work well with them. Because I think that was one of the reasons I got into yarn dyeing, was because I love working with so many colours all at once, as anyone that's watched me before will know. It's nice to work in single colour sometimes, but a lot of the time I think the more colour the better, for me anyway. So I want to help encourage other people do that. I also have several advents from the last few years that I want to use, and yeah, I'm just going to not worry about what they turn into. If it's all blankets, that's absolutely fine, because they make me happy. Right, I will get started. I'm going to start with the things that I have finished, and then the bits I'm working on. Some of them I've worked on more recently, some it's been a while, but I've made progress since the last time I showed you, so I'll try and keep it as succinct as I can. But it might be a bit of a long episode, so grab yourself a warm drink. Right, I honestly can't remember if I showed this in a previous episode or not. I don't think I did, but I have shown it on Vlogmas at some point. So apologies if you've already seen it, but I wanted to to show it again, because I do love it, and it's one of the ones that isn't designed, it's a pattern that isn't designed for mini skeins, but I think worked really well with them. So this is the Skylights sweater by Tanis Lavallee. It's written for, I think it's Aran or Chunky Weight, I can't remember. But what I did was I held two strands of sock yarn and a strand of lace weight. I didn't choose a fluffy yarn this time. I went for merino silk lace, and it's absolutely beautiful, and it's got like a lovely soft feel without being fluffy, which I really like. So this jumper I haven't woven the ends in. I think the main reason is because at the moment it feels too big. I think it was the second size I chose, going by the recommended bust size and positive ease, and it just feels too big and baggy for me. I think it might work better towards the summertime, you know, when you we do go to the beach, you've been there all day and you're kind of chilly by the end of the day and you want something to throw on, but you don't want it to be clingy. So I think that this will come into its own then. So apologies for the fact that there are ends still showing, but I really do love it. So I used, I can't remember what year it was, 2019 advent from Giddy Yarns. It was a faded one, and I also used some of Helen, her fantasy minis as well. She did a yarn club using fantasy books as inspiration, and when I was going through my stash realised that they worked really well together, so I worked one 20-gram mini of the club with two of the 10-gram minis that I had from the fade. So the colours I think work really well together. I'm going to show you. So it's a lovely jumper. It's got a lovely cable panel down the front, which I love, and it was really good fun to knit. It's super quick. I can't remember right now what size needles it is. Can't remember if it's 6 or 8. Might be 8, I'm not sure. I think it's 8mm, and then 6 for the ribbing. But it's lovely, and it's got a nice drape about it and everything, but I think it's just a bit too wide for me. So yeah, I haven't really worn it yet, but I will, because I haven't knitted that to not wear it, but I just, at the moment it hasn't called to me. But I love the combination of the colours. I love just being able to fade. I love the lace giving that slight marled effect. I think it's really lovely. It's a great pattern, really straightforward. Yeah, so I will eventually get the ends woven in and make use of it. But I loved it so much that I cast on a second one, this time with Spectrum Fibre, and just using 100-gram skeins to blend it together. And I did it in a smaller size. I went for the smallest size available, and I really like it. It's a much better size for me. The neck sits better for a start, and just body wise it's just a wee bit baggy, but it's nice. So I picked some skeins that I thought went well together and faded them and stuck with the panel again. I have started another jumper using Spectrum Fibre to do something similar, but I'm thinking I'm going to leave the panel out this time and just see what it's like without that, just for a basic sort of chunky squishy jumper. But it's lovely, and I like the kind of balloon sleeves. I think it's really nice to have that. It's a very comfortable one to wear. I might wear it in the next episode if I remember. But yes, it's a lovely jumper, and so quick to knit, so quick. It's great fun. So I do recommend that if you are looking for something soft and comforting to wear and work on. The next finished object I have is a Love Note sweater. I finished this ages ago. So again, I can't remember if I've shown this one on anything. I might have mentioned it on a Vlogmas, but I'm not certain. But this is one of my old colourways called Wren from the Chronicles of Ancient Darkness series. It was a set of books. They're kids' books actually, but they're really good. I love them. Set a long time ago, and in the kind of hunter-gatherer stage of the world, and I loved the series so much, and Wren was one of my favourite characters. She's a very strong girl, and so this colour very much represents her with her green slate shield for her bow and arrow, things like that, the red in her hair. But it has been sitting for a long time waiting to be turned into something, so I didn't have a lot. I had 2 skeins, so I thought, right, I'm going for a love note because I do love them. This time I've made one before, and I used the Suri alpaca and silk, which is beautifully soft. I love it. At this time I went for mohair and silk, which is lovely, and I don't tend to be irritated with it, but I know some people can be. But it does definitely feel different, so it'll be interesting to see after I've worn it a lot whether I find it just as comfortable or not. I'm not sure, because I've never actually made a jumper with the mohair before. I've made other things and worn them once or twice, but I tend to go with the Suri silk because I love it and it's so soft and warm. So it'll be interesting to see what this is like, but I do love the colour. I haven't blocked it, so the lace panel's maybe not quite as obvious, but I'm pleased it shows up so well, even though it's a very speckled, variegated kind of colourway. I wasn't sure how that would work. I have quite a lot of yarn in my stash that I have bought at yarn festivals when I've been vending, or from clubs that I've gone for 2 skeins just so that I can make some jumpers. Either a love note or a ranunculus, because I think they look really nice. But I wasn't sure how something so lacy would look with a more variegated skein, so I'm glad that it still looks nice. So I will make more in the future. I had great plans last year. I was going to work one each month, and then it's not the way life goes, is it? Right, this is just a basic scarf, garter stitch scarf that I started ages ago, and stalled at the last sort of section of it. I think I'd worked up to here, and then so I had just had that bit to finish. It took me forever, but it's done and it's nice and squishy and simple. It's Giddy Yarns, her nostalgia club that she dyed. I don't know, a lot of my stash doesn't get used for a good few years until I've decided what it's to become. So I can't remember exactly when it was, maybe 2021, but yeah, I had made 2 blankets actually, small blankets, one for my mum and one for my mum-in-law, and yeah, I wanted to turn the leftovers into something, so I just made this, just a simple little scarf, but it's so nice actually. So now that I've finally shown you, I can wear it. It's been set aside for months to show you. So yeah, it's just nice to finally get things finished. I'm great at starting things, I'm not great at finishing them, so when I do finish it, it's always a big success. I'm very pleased with myself. And the last finished object I have to show you, well, kind of, is actually using a sock blank that I bought. So I bought 2 a long time ago from the Squiggle Yarn Company. They're based in Australia. I haven't seen anything from them for a while, so I don't even know if they're still dyeing yarn or not. But I bought 2 sock blanks. Didn't factor into the getting hit with import fees, because that was such a long time ago. I didn't even realise or think about it properly how much I thought that it was under the threshold, and it wasn't. But I love them, so it really doesn't matter. So I know people often use sock blanks to knit with, to rip back and make socks or something, but this was so pretty that I thought, I can't possibly do that. I don't want to destroy what's there because it's so beautiful. So I love wearing cowls. I wear them a lot because they're just perfect under a jacket. They just fit me and my style. So I decided to turn it into a cowl. So I think it's so pretty, isn't it? Isn't that gorgeous? So all I did was unpick a couple of rows, because there's always one at the end of a sock blanket if you haven't used it before that you can take back to unwind. So I just unpicked a couple and then grafted it together. It's not maybe the best graft, but I would say it's pretty good. And yeah, I think it's just lovely for me and what I want. So I've got one more which I'm going to do something with as well, probably the same thing, because it's just nice to have that. But again, these have been set aside for ages, so I'm so excited to be able to wear them. I might just keep that on actually. But it's made me want to have a go at dyeing sock blanks myself actually. They do look good fun. And when you can turn it into something super quick and simple like that for a gift, I think that's a nice idea. Saves you having to do half the knitting. So that is all of my finished objects, except I do have something else to show you later, but finished yarn objects, shall I say. So we're on to my basket of whips now. Now, this first one is going to look very odd, but the reason that it's the way it is because I wanted to work on it as a kind of portable project. And I love making granny squares. I know that a lot of people may be fed up with them, but to me they're just kind of easy, comfort, no stress, which I love. So I had... I think it's the Narnia Advent from Giddy Yarns. I can't remember which year it was, but it doesn't matter. And I wanted to turn it into a blanket. Helen and I have been swapping Advents for years, and it's always lovely to be able to do that. And every year she makes a blanket with whatever yarn, or as far as I know, she makes a blanket with the yarn that she's gotten from me. The first couple of years, like that jumper, and I can't remember what else I did. I used them for different projects, and then I thought, I love blankets and it's nice to have something like that. So I wanted to turn this one into a blanket. I had some, I don't know if I've got the yarn here actually. It's not from my usual supplier, it was from a different supplier that I tried it. But it's a gold sparkle sock yarn. It's slightly different than the one that I get normally. Sorry, I'm not very good at this. I'm definitely out of practice. So it's slightly less... slightly different than the one that I normally get. But I had some left over from when I was starting out and trying different companies and buying sort of sample amounts of them. So I decided to use it for this. So I held it, the minis and that double, and made squares. So because I wanted it to be portable, I started working strips and then I joined them together. So it looks very odd. Let me find here. So I've joined a good part of the blanket already, but then we get to sections like this because I'm trying to work them in the colours as I go. So yes, it looks very odd and there's a lot of it still to be joined, but I'm making progress. I haven't got a lot left to do, to be honest. It's just a couple of days of sitting down and doing it and it would be done. Because it's the Narnia one, I kind of wanted the sparkle to have a slightly festive feel about it, or wintry feel at least, and I really love it. I love the colours of this. I'll see if I can just show you a bit of it so that you can get the idea. I think it's really lovely, and I'm enjoying working on it. I've realised that I like projects that are a bit thicker. A lot of the time I've kind of gone off of fingering weight projects because they take so long. And it just doesn't really work for me. Certain things do, but in general it doesn't really work for me anymore. It just makes me feel under pressure and like I'm not making progress, which puts me off and ruins my enthusiasm. So things like this that work up much quicker, I really love. So that is a blanket I'm looking forward to continuing with. Let me set that aside. Right, now what else? I haven't made socks in a long time. I started my business because I wanted a rainbow of socks, and I've shown them before, which I may still add to at another point, but I haven't made socks for a long time. I haven't even really been wearing them very much for ages, but we've had a lot of snow recently and my feet have been really cold, and I started wearing my socks again and I loved it. So I have started working. I've got lots of sock yarn as well. That's the frustrating thing. Lots of striping sock yarn. But because I wasn't wearing them, I felt it was pointless to waste it on more socks. But because I've been enjoying wearing them again, I have started making socks. So I have made one. This is the West Yorkshire Spinners. I can't remember what the colour is. I don't think I've got the band here. It was from their cocktail range anyway. I'm sure that was what it was from. And yeah, I've gone with the Winwick Mum basic Sockalong pattern. It doesn't produce even nice, neat continuation of stripes here, but it's the one that fits me best, and it's the one that actually is comfortable to wear and doesn't wrinkle down. Unfortunately, afterthought heels, much though I found the right length and everything, they just, in general, they move when I'm wearing them and they kind of irritate me. So I've gone back to basics and enjoyed working that. So I've done one sock and I have just the cuff and the start of the leg of the other one. So I'm hoping it will help reignite my love of sock making and I can get back into using some of that stash, because I have a lot. Not that many that are super bright though, I must be honest. I have lots of hand-dyed striping yarn in varying colours, which I love. I had great plans, I've spoken about that before I think at one point, about doing, I'm trying to think what the jumper's called. It's one of the Telly Bean knits. Can't remember what it's called, but is it sock arms? There's a sweater and a cardigan. I have a book, I think it's got the cardigan in it, but I have the pattern from online as well for the jumper. So the arms are done with striping yarn, which it looks lovely, and then the body's just like a plain. But again, fingering weight, haven't had the enthusiasm for that. So maybe I will turn the striping yarn into socks. I don't know. There's no rush for me to use these things. As I said, this year I'm just going to do the things that make me happy, that inspire me and make me feel enthusiastic, because I don't see the point in working on anything else. Having lost my dad very suddenly before he even got to retirement age, having seen my mum deteriorate massively, and she was a huge crafter. She was the reason that I started my business. She inspired me all the time. Having seen her go downhill, lose all her capabilities for crafting and her enthusiasm, which should have been the first sign that something was wrong. It's made me realise, what is the point in worrying about what I get done? If I manage to do the things that I want to do and it makes me happy at that point in time, then that's all that matters. If there's a huge stash left behind, well, so be it. I'm not going to stress. I will do what makes me happy, not what I feel duty bound to do, because there's too much of that in life. And I think there's so many expectations for people to use up what they have and not waste money. But I think if you've bought something and it makes you happy, even if it's just that you take it out, look at it and go, oh, that's lovely, what could I do? Have some time imagining and put it away again. You've still gotten pleasure out of it. And yeah, hopefully I will use some of my striping yarn, but it does give me pleasure just to look at it, so I'm going to make the most of that while I can. I'm sorry if this seems very jumbled today. It's hard to talk about things, and I don't, like I said, I don't want to be super depressing, but I also think that there's such a pressure online sometimes to, to have a no spend January or a no buy year and not add to your stash. And that's absolutely fine. I completely agree if it stresses you out how much you've got. But I don't think we should ever be made to feel guilty about our crafting. The next project I wanted to show you is, it doesn't look like much at the moment. Excuse me while I just take the lids off the boxes. Oops. It's all tiny little granny squares. Tiny. 2 round granny squares. It is using an advent, or Beehive Yarns advent. I can't remember if it was Cabin in the Woods or something like that it was called. It's a few years ago now, and the colours are absolutely gorgeous. I'll see if I can pick them up and show you without knocking everything flying. Let's see, excuse this long bit of yarn here. Let me take that out. So the colours of this are really lovely. So I've turned the whole thing into little squares because I thought anything that's left over I will add to a blanket. I've been using up some of my scraps as well just to make little 2 round squares. The yarn's held double. So let's see how many I got out of each mini. I think I got 7 out of each mini. And my plan is to make a top. I am planning on doing it like this so that they are that way round, and let's see, I should have laid this out on the floor and taken a photo instead, but you know what I mean, so that looks like it's made on the diagonal. I have a joining yarn in mind, the bronze sparkle base, which let me see if I can just get this, show you, which I stock. I absolutely love this base. It's one of my favourites. You'll have seen me use it in other things I made. It's got a slightly grey tone. It's really beautiful. It's bronze stellina that's in it, but it's very subtle, so you only get like a little twinkle sometimes. I don't even know if it's showing up here properly, but it's so pretty, and it goes really well with these kind of colours. It's not as harsh as the creamy white of the normal undyed yarn. It's just got a nice soft kind of tone to it. So I was thinking I might use that held double to join them. I haven't decided yet whether to have them joined sort of like side by side, kind of joining, to stitch them like that together, and then have like the undyed, or whether to have each one surrounded. I haven't decided that, which is why I've set it aside for just now. But while it was like that, it was a great thing to take to knit night and just whiz up some when I was sitting in the car waiting for my daughter or whatever. I like portable projects, but when they get to the stage that they need to be joined, that's when it's a bit more tricky. But I will get there. I think the colours, because of the blues in it, look really kind of well, not summery, but would work in a summery situation. To me, they're kind of beachy colours actually. I think they're really pretty. So yeah, that's that project. That one I did sort of over the course of last year, so just when I had time. So I haven't picked it up for a little while. So I really need to make some space on the floor, lay it out and see what I fancy doing and how it's going to look. I can't tell whether to do short sleeve or long sleeve. I haven't decided that either. I think I might have to wait till the body is done and see what I think would look best. It might be nice just to do the body and then crochet sleeves with the bronze stellina. I don't know. If anyone has any suggestions for any of the things that I mention, like patterns with minis. I would love to know some of your favourite patterns to use minis in. Whether you think something would look better with a short sleeve or a long sleeve, anything like that. I'm always happy to hear suggestions for striping yarn, anything. Please let me know, because I do love to find out what other people think. I will always go with what I think is for me, but I do love hearing what everyone else likes working with, what they what colours they like best, how, like, what hook size, what weight, those kind of things. I know I've been asked before to mention when I've been making things what size of hook or needle I'm using. For that, those squares I'm using 5.5mm when I'm holding yarn double. That's kind of my standard. When it's other patterns like the jumpers, I stick to the size that they recommend, because usually my tension's pretty much bang on what they say. Yeah, I think that was everything. My socks are always 2.5mm because that's what works best for me in my tension. But with socks, yeah, you should always go with what works best and makes a nice fabric for you. The next project I wanted to show you is, now, what's this one called? Christmas in July sweater. I think that's what it's called. I had aimed to do this in July and it never happened, so you know. But I got the yoke done, and then it got set aside because I had yarn festivals and Christmas and everything, and I never got the rest done. So I'll show you. This is my first colour work jumper, and I absolutely loved doing this. I did block the yoke a little bit just so that it evened it out a little, which I really like. And then I've chosen, so the jumper is by Tanis Lavallee. Yes, it's called Christmas in July sweater, and it uses, I think, 11 mini skeins. So this one actually looks very similar to the body, the main colour, but it is actually my own hand-dyed yarn. But I thought I wanted something that didn't stand out against the neckline. I wanted it to look like it kind of worked together. So I picked a colour that was very similar. But I think it's 11 colours that you're supposed to use that are different, as far as I can remember, unless it's supposed to be 10 and I used that colour just because I had it and I thought it looked better than the flicks. So I feel like this is very jumbled today. I'm sorry. I'm definitely out of practice doing this. So the main colour I've used is Donegal base, the multicolour Donegal base, which I love. It's so pretty with the little speckles in it. They're just like little tweedy bits that have been spun into the yarn, but it's really lovely, and it makes a lovely oh, I just remembered something else, sorry. Definitely out of practice. Yeah, so it makes a lovely I don't even know, I feel like I'm losing everything today. It makes a lovely like, has a lovely effect when you knit it up without any effort, which I like. And I thought the colours worked really well with the minis that I've chosen. So I just have to finish the body and then do the sleeves, which if I just sat down and did it wouldn't take me that long. But I haven't been picking up my knitting as much recently. It's been more crochet. As I've said before, crochet is my comfort, and it's easier to pick up and sit down sometimes, for me anyway. So at the moment I'm not that far into the body, but it wouldn't take me that long to whiz it up. And I think once it's blocked, the body's blocked, this yarn will look really lovely. It's a little bit twisty at the moment, which you can see, but I think once it's blocked it'll be lovely. Oops. So yeah, I thought about a shawl that I made. I actually finished 2 things for showing at Yorkshire Yarn Fest in November, and they're both downstairs, and I completely forgot about them until just now, because once I finished them both, I was knitting on the body of this at the festival. If I will show them in the next episode. I'm not going to stress about that just now. No stress. 2026. Famous last words. Right, I have 2 more things to show you. These are both recent cast-ons, which I love. So I, as I said, love Advent. One of my favourite times of the year. Love getting mini skeins. Love the potential. Love spending ages perusing your patterns online and trying to figure out what would be the perfect combination. But I am terrible for waiting years before I use them. So this year I had ordered the Bridgerton Advent from Jen at Castleview Yarns. I've gotten hers the last few years and I love them because I like that they all fade together, work really well. So I went for that, and my sister's a big Bridgerton fan too, and so I decided to make her a cowl for Christmas, and then I just ran out of time. Just wasn't able to knit fast enough in the time that I had to finish it, so I'm only halfway through. But it's really pretty. The colours are lovely. So it's just a simple cowl. I'm doing 8 rounds of each colour before I switch to the next, and it's really lovely. And the colours go towards, I don't think I can show you very easily, kind of purples next, and then into the pinky colours, and then the sort of reddy tones, and back to oranges, which I think will be lovely. So that is only using about 5 grams of each mini, and then my plans for the rest of it, I saw Claire from Cooks and Crafts do a jumper, I think it's number 44 by Vester Crea. I don't know, I think that's how you say it. And so Jen used an advent. She used a 10 gram advent, and Claire used a 10 gram advent, and she said it was pretty tight for yarn, but she just managed to get, so it's like a colourwork jumper. I'll try and put a picture up. And she just managed to get it done and no more. So I was thinking, because I'll have 15 grams of each colour left, I think that would be a really nice one to do. Should be pretty simple, and because it's constant colour changes, it will keep me going, which is a good way to keep me going. I do like things that don't take forever to change colour. So that's my plans for using the rest of this advent. But I love the colours. They're so pretty, aren't they? And I'm excited to see how the pinks and reds and oranges work. And my sister, I've made cowls like this before for her, and she really likes them as well. So, and she likes Bridgerton, so I'm pretty sure she'll like that. So she'll be getting for her Christmas this year. Maybe for her birthday, we'll see. Depends how quickly I get it done. But that's kind of a pick up and just knit a few rows when I've got some time project. So yeah, we'll see. The last thing I'm working on just now is another recent cast on, as I said. Not last year, 2 years ago, I got, sounds like it's a big promotion for Helen from Giddy Yarns, but it's just because I've been working with my advents. I got the Hogfather advent. Was that last year? I can't remember. And I have the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory one from before that, and both of them were DK advents. I went for those for a change, and I kind of felt that the colours just worked really well together. So I'm working my way through making squares with those. Each mini skein I'm getting 2 5-round DK squares, just held single. And I'm planning just a big blanket with those. I'll see if I can get the ones I've made so far. So the colours are kind of a lot of blues and greens and purples, but there are some pinks and yellows. So I'm just going to go with them and see how it looks. I think when it's all sort of mingled together, it'll look really nice. Let's see. So I think that'll look really nice when they're all mixed together. And I've got my big tin. I love my tins. With the rest of the minis in them. And in amongst it, I think there's 7. Let's see if I can get these out. 7 that look more sort of solid colourways. So I'm going to leave them to last, because if I can make the blanket work as it is, I might use them for a colour work jumper or something. I think those colours would work quite well together. I haven't decided for sure what I'm going to do, but the rest of the colours are there. It all looks very messy because they're all unwinding, but it's nice just to be able to pick one out and whip up a couple of squares at a time. And I'm being very good at weaving my ends and as I go, because I'm usually not good at that, but I've realised that it does make life a lot easier. So that is my catch up of my yarny projects. I do have a couple of other things to show you. I haven't got all of them here because it would have been impossible to keep it all balanced, but I have fallen in love with Lego Botanicals. I got some, was it last year or the year before, from my sister. I got 2024 for my birthday. I got a bunch of the wildflower botanicals and they are beautiful. I love them, and they're in a jug in my bedroom and they're just so pretty. The colours are gorgeous, and so I've gotten, for birthdays and Christmases since, I've gotten presents and bought myself some as well, and I love them. I think they're so fun to do. There's something really joyful about them. They're really pretty. So I've got a couple of small ones here to show you, and let's see. So they do some plant ones like this. This is the chrysanthemum, which is really lovely. Just sits nicely in the corner and looks really pretty. So I love that. It's also really nice when you get the booklets. They tell you, tell you about some of the elements that they use and what they've been designed for in the first place, which I think is very cool. And then how they're repurposed into the botanicals, and it's just really fun. So this is one that I love that is in this room. And then this little, I bought this jug ages ago at a fair, and my sister gave me these flowers as part of my birthday this last year, and so they're sitting next to my desk because it's just so pretty and fun. Aren't they lovely? So I have some of the other bouquets which are in different parts of the house, and a couple of the plants. If you've seen my Vlogmas, you'll have seen the Bird of Paradise, which was on my fireplace at one point, and I have an orchid, a big orchid. And then for my Christmas this year, my sister gave me from my mum, the smaller orchid, which is lovely. So it matches the style of the vase base, whatever matches the chrysanthemum. They also have the bamboo and the plum blossom, I think it is. I want to get them. Some of them I'm not too keen on, some of the botanicals. There's the big flower arrangement, which is just not my style, and it's very expensive, but a lot of them I do love. They've got some new ones coming out, a bunch of tulips which look gorgeous, so I think I will be treating myself to them at some point. Yeah, it's nice to do something straightforward and simple, but that makes you happy every time you look at it. I think it's great. And they have a variety of prices, so there's smaller things. They've got daffodils that I got. I really love them. They're just a nice little set, and I've got a tiny wee vase that they sit in. I'm trying to think what else I've got. Yeah, they're different bouquets. They're all really lovely. They're nice gifts as well. If you wanted to make them, you can. I have seen people talk about using some kind of glue that you can use that you can remove if you need to. So they're not fixed permanently, but they're fixed enough that they won't fall apart if they're moved. So you could potentially make ones and then give them as a gift to somebody, which I think would be a really nice thing if you didn't want or have space for them yourself. The other set I have to make is this one, Hibiscus, that's the name. I was going to say hydrangea and I was like, that's not right. Hibiscus. So I'm excited to see. I saw this when we went to London in the summer in the Lego shop. It's quite big, which is really nice. So it'll be exciting to make that and put that in my house. Yeah, they're just so much fun. So if you've been considering trying them or haven't seen them and fancy them, I highly recommend them. They're really good. I'm a big Lego fan. I also bought, because I love books and anything that is connected to books, and I bought the Sherlock Holmes book nook that they do. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. Loved it. Spent a few days, well, yeah, over like a couple of weekends actually doing it. It was so much fun. And I love how there's like hidden elements, so like the behind doors and things that you can move, and I love it. And then it clips together, so it can be the book nook on the shelf, or it can open up. Yeah, it's just great. And I love Sherlock Holmes. It was one of the subjects I studied at university. Yeah, great. So yeah, murder mysteries and that sort of thing, mysteries of any kind I love. So yes, that's a good one too. I hope they do more book nooks. I'd love if they did like an Agatha Christie one. That would be amazing. It'd be so cool. Have a little Poirot and a little Miss Marple. It'd be amazing. I don't know how they would do that though. I'm not sure. Because the Sherlock Holmes one is Baker Street, so it's very cool. I really don't know how they would do unless they did. Yeah, they would have to do different themes. And I don't suppose they would do that, but I just think it'd be amazing if they did. There's so much potential there for themes, you know, like for authors and famous characters, and I think it would be very cool if they could do that. So I think that's everything I wanted to show you just now. Like I said, I have a lot of other whips that have been set aside for just now. Some blankets and other bits and pieces and lots of plans. But I don't want to be overwhelming just now. And I don't want to overwhelm myself either, because I am inclined to get sidetracked or disheartened if I see that I've got too much to do and not enough time. So I am going to just try and carry on with the ones that I'm enjoying just now and not stress about it, as I said. And I'm hoping to be podcasting more regularly, because I can't believe that how the last couple of years have gone and I haven't gotten anything done. I feel like I let people down by not doing that, but there is only so much that we can all do in one time. So I would love to hear what you've been working on. If there's anything in particular that you think I would like to know about, that would be amazing. If you've tried Lego Botanicals, let me know, because and what your favourite one is, or if you like the look of any in particular. If I've made it, I will tell you if it's good. Pretty much all good, so don't worry. Yeah, if there's anything you'd like to see from me, let me know. I'll try my best if I can. Apart from that, I think that's everything. And I hope you're all well, and I hope it's not too long before I'm back to speak to you again. And thank you for joining me. Okay, bye.